Now, in this part of the test, you're each going to talk on your own for about 2 minutes. You need to listen while your partner is speaking because you'll be asked to comment afterwards. So, Benedict, I'm going to give you a card with a question written on it, and I'd like you to tell us what you think. There are also some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. All right, here is your card. Please let Catherine see your card. Remember, Benedict, you have about 2 minutes to talk before we join in.
Okay. Why is music important to people around the world? I think music can be compared to a bond to people. So, first of all, music is something that can be understood by everyone because it conveys emotion. Music can be depressive, it can be joyful, it has so many different aspects that it can imply, and that's why many people are able to understand emotions that are transported by the music regardless of their own language, and that's why I think this is one of the most important things that the most important thing concerning why music is important to people. Secondly, I think it is also a means to preserve traditions. For example, there are so many different traditional music, music songs, for example, local folk music, but also more sophisticated, diverse music, and all these different music songs go back to different traditions, and that's why music is also a means to preserve traditions. Thirdly, I think it can entertain people. So if people join as a group to a music festival, they can also understand what I've said before, emotions that are conveyed, and be entertained. So I think that is also an important thing. But
thank you. Catherine, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, I agree on all your 3 points, actually. The first thing that sprung into my mind when I heard the question was the emotional part of music. And music exists for such a long time, all through history, and I think that's because people feel it, and it's a way of expressing themselves, and it's a way of communicating, and it's a way of entertaining each other and coming together in groups.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Do you think everyone has musical ability?
Yes, definitely. I think not everyone will be able to be a world-class pianist, of course not, but I think everyone has a sense of music, which means that he can feel the emotions that are conveyed by music.
I think we shouldn't forget the people who are tone deaf. So
Yes.
I think there are people who don't have any musical abilities, although they would like to have them.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the booklet, please? Thank you. Now, Catherine, it's your turn to be given a question.
Yes.
Here is your card.
Thank you.
Please let Benedict see your card. Remember, Catherine, you have about 2 minutes to tell us what you think, and there are some ideas on the card for you to use if you like. All right?
Okay. Well, the question, when it's preferably to be in a quiet place or a noisy place, the first thing that comes to my mind is babies. Babies can only sleep when it's really quiet, and when the television's on and the radio's on, it's really difficult for them to get in sleep. But when you get older, you get used to noises around you, people talking, television on, and you can sleep through it. So I think the older you get, the less important it is to be in a quiet place when you want to go to sleep. A lot of people can only read when it's really, really quiet around them, because otherwise they can't concentrate. But me, for instance, I can read everywhere, even in a busy train or a tube or whatever. But that differs for all the people. So it depends on the activity, and it depends on the person itself, whether you want to be in a noisy place or a quiet place. Studying, I guess, is an activity that really calls for a quiet place, and I think that is for pretty most everyone. They want to be in a quiet place so they can concentrate really, really hard on their studies. And so there are a lot of activities to think about which should be in a quiet place but could be in a noisy place depending on your personal wants. And another thing that's quite important with this particular choice is the time of day, because we people, we're used to sleep at night and get up in the morning, and when it's light we live more actively. So having it quiet when it's dark, or having it quiet when we are trying to relax, that's, I think, a really important point, because the time of day in the afternoon, we're used to being active, used to be doing a lot. So when it's not really, really quiet at that point, it doesn't really matter. But when we try to relax, it needs to be quiet.
Thank you. Benedict, is there anything you don't agree with?
I think considering the needs of young people to go out at night, I think you should also consider these the youth of today. And I think many young people really try to turn the day and night life upside down, which means that they are far more active in the night and prefer being in a disco or in a club, whereas they prefer sleeping in the day. So
You're definitely right about that.
Are most of your friends quiet or loud people?
I think I have both. Actually, I have the friends I used to go out partying with, they're the loud ones, and my study friends are the quiet ones, I guess.
yeah, a lot of my friends are I think that they are more quiet, but I don't know what they're doing in their leisure times and their spare time, so maybe they're far more noisy than I experience them. But for me it is also important to be together with people that are more quiet, because it's just a specific feeling that I feel more comfortable when I be together with these people.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Now, to finish the test, we're going to talk about sound in general. Do you find the sounds of nature relaxing, Benedict?
Yes, I think they are quite relaxing, because they are natural sounds. It might seem obvious, but they are natural, which mean that we can we receive the feeling of safety, which is not always the case if we are in a busy city, which contains a lot of sounds that are unnatural, that are human-made, and I think this might be quite relaxing.
Well, I have to disagree on that, I'm sorry, because I find it easier to sleep with traffic noise on the background than, for instance, a lot of frogs or, what is it, quaking around, and maybe it's just what you're used to. So some sounds, some nature sounds can be not that relaxing as you think they would.
If you're thinking about the sounds of the jungle, then you're definitely right. But being in a place off the beaten track and just listening to, for example, water, and this is, I think, quite relaxing in contrast to...
Catherine, what makes a person's voice pleasant or unpleasant?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. I think that also depends on yourself, what you find pleasant, if you like dark sounds or if you like higher, lighter sounds. But I think the really strange voices with a crack in it, or really high-pitched, or that sort of thing, when they're really unusual, that can make it not as pleasant because you're used to the more common sound of a voice. But I find it rather difficult to think of a voice I find unpleasant, actually. Yes.
Okay. Benedict, a great film needs a great soundtrack. Do you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree, because I think the soundtrack is one of the most important things concerning how emotions are also transported by the film. For example, if you're watching a very depressing scene, I think it would be appropriate to have a very deep and very sad music, such as something like Chopin or so. And that's why I think there are definitely similarities between the soundtrack and the scene you're watching in the cinema. So I think it has to fit together.
Mm. Do you think that children are noisier than adults?
Well, I think that children have to learn that they can't yell and can't scream the whole time. So in that point, in their earlier stage of life, children may be really noisy because they don't know how to behave. But when they're told how to behave, they are not that much noisier, I think.
Yeah, I think, of course, they are noisy, but I want to add that it is important that they are also noisy, because it's also a means of expression of even creativity. So that if they are yelling or so, it might also be an expression of joy.
Yes, and
so,
look at football supporters. They're adults
Exactly.
and they're really, really noisy.
yeah,
So, and when adults get angry and they start screaming, I think they can out-yell a
Yeah.
child. So, and
that's the importance of being noisy. Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. That's the end of the test.